Okay, guys, so just a second. Yeah, so am I audible, everyone, properly? Am I audible? Yes. Okay. So today we are going to learn a very important topic. You will be like using this like anything, flex properties, okay? And it will be used everywhere. Flex is very important. And you need to understand what's the anatomy of flex so as to use it. And trust me, flex is something which is used everywhere. Like even if you go to any of the front end developer jobs, you will be seeing that there is a demand of flex. Okay, so we will be starting with flex. So let me just share my screen right now. Okay, so keep it. Yeah. So basically, we will be starting with the anatomy of flex. Okay, of flex. So first of all, let us just start it. Let me just increase the size of my brush. Yeah. So as of now, you know that whenever we want some of the block elements to be arranged in a proper column or a proper row, then we use inline block or inline block inline. Yeah, block elements or inline elements respectively. So day before yesterday also we learned that if we want to arrange certain elements in the same row, even if they are block elements, then we use the property inline block, and that basically helps us to arrange them. Flex also does that only, but inline block has just one property. It will basically arrange all the elements in a particular row. Okay, all the elements in a particular row. But flex has a lot of properties beyond that, thousands of properties beyond that. So that is the reason we use flex. Okay, we use flex. So what is the anatomy over here? So first of all, okay, so first of all, you have your entire parent over here. Okay, this is your parent. Inside the parent, suppose you have certain children. Okay, certain children are present over here. So, yeah, over here. So first of all, your entire parent, this particular thing, yeah. Is there something wrong with this particular? Yeah, it's fine. So this is your parent. Okay, this is your this is your parent container. Okay, this is your parent container. And these all items are your flex items. Okay, flex items. Okay, you can call this as a parent container or a flex container. Okay, and rest all are flex items. And now, this particular axis is your main axis, and this particular axis is your cross axis. You do not have to learn about main axis and cross axis, but yeah, you need to learn about flex container and the flex items. Yeah, so what we want, we want that our element should be able to arrange in a particular row. They even provide, flexibility for arranging elements in column, but the most needed one is the row one, because by default elements are arranged in a column wise manner, like stacked on top of each other. So over here, you know that we have all the elements. We have all the elements and we want to arrange them in a row wise manner. We want to arrange them in a row wise manner. Now this is the property which is provided by inline block also, but inline block does not provide other properties. Here there are a bunch of properties which are provided apart from this particular thing, and we will be exploring that part of flex. Okay, we'll be exploring that part of flex. So let us just go and start coding along with flex. So let me go to Replit. From tomorrow I'll be starting with the normal, okay, I need to log in. Yeah, from tomorrow I'll be doing it with Atom, but for today I'm doing it with Replit, because from tomorrow we will be making our own Git repository, so that needs local uses, so that is why today I'll be giving an introduction about Git. Okay, create REPL. So as of now, let me just remove whatever is given in the body. Yeah. And over here, the very simple and first thing what I'm going to do is I'll create a division, and inside the division, I'll have a class, and I'll name the class as parent. And over here again, I'll have a division. And then over here, I'll have a class and I'll name it as child. Okay, I'll name it as child. This is done. Easy. And then after that, what we are going to do, let us just give some CSS to our parents, some random CSS, so that we are able to just notice what happens to our changes on Flex and all. So let us give a certain color to our body. Let us go to color hunt. Okay. So over here, Flex is very important. From now onwards, the important topics are starting. So do not try to miss on any lecture or something like that. All the important topics are starting from today onwards. So please focus and tell your friends who are like not attending to attend because it's very important. Let us give a background color. Yeah, a background color of probably black. Let it be black, later on we'll change. And then a padding of like all the sides padding, okay, left, right, top, bottom, all the sides padding of around 200 pixels. Okay, just a second, guys. Okay. So over here you have your body and then you have a padding, and then we'll be going to our parent class, and inside our parent class let us just give a background color. Let it have a background color of probably white. Let's give a background color of white, and then let us give it a width of 100%, whatever width is available to it after removing the padding. We are trying to give that particular width, and then probably a height of 500 pixels will work. Yeah, 500 pixels. Great. And just a second, guys. Yeah, okay. Actually, my mom called me, so yeah. So after that, we'll be having our child, and to our child, let us just give a background color of something. So let us give it a background color of probably some color. Let us just pick certain color. Yeah, this is fine. So let us just give it a background color of this. Yeah, green. And then a width of probably 200 pixels. Yeah, 100 pixel will be very small, so width of 200 pixels and a height of 200 pixels only. I want it to be like square, so that is why. Okay, so after this, let us just open it in a new tab. Okay, and see what's the okay. So this is what we got. Okay, this is what we got, and this was expected. Yeah, this was expected. After that, I want to show how Flex works, how Flex basically works. So what I'll do, for Flex to work, we need more than one child. Okay, more than one child. So what I'll do over here, I'll basically copy this particular division and I'll paste it again and again over here. Okay, I'll paste it again and again. Let us just copy again these all things. And let me just paste it again over here and again over here. Okay, now if I go and refresh it, then you can see that as like it's not, you know, unexpected, because we have not used any properties or anything like that. So that is the reason they are getting stacked on top of each other, stacked on top of each other. So what I'll do over here, first let us just have, you know, a less number of child division, then you will be able to understand how will it go when we have a lot of child division. So now if I go over here and refresh, you see that we have all the divisions stacked on top of each other. Okay, now if I go over to my this particular code inside styles.css, you want that for what flex should be applied, for what flex should be applied. We want that all the child division inside this parent division should follow the flex property. So that is why to the parent only you will write display and then flex. Okay, display and then flex. Now, if I go over here and refresh, you can see that all the revisions are on the side of each other, on the side of each other. You are not able to see the gap between them because they do not have any padding or margin, but they are stacked on the side of each other. Now, what is the importance of flex over here? If you want a gap between all the divisions, then you don't have to tell that I want a margin right for this division and a margin left for all the divisions, so as to have some gap between all the things. That's very, you know, that's very dumb and that's very much tiring. It will require a lot of work. So what we'll do, inside flex only, you have got some properties called gap. Okay, you have got some properties called gap, and you can provide a gap of whatever you want, and it will basically give a gap of whatever pixels you have provided between all the divisions. And here you do not, if I basically ask you that, okay guys, please provide a gap between all the divisions, you cannot directly do it using, you know, normal padding or margin to all the child division, because if you provide a margin left of 5 pixel, then here also a margin left will be provided. You don't want a margin left over here, you just want a, you know, gap between all the divisions. So you have to provide a separate id to the first, you know, first block, and then you have to say that, okay, for the first block I want a margin right, and for rest of the blocks I want a margin left. So that's a lot of work. But here what you can do, you can directly write gap, and inside gap I can provide, okay, I want a 5 pixel gap. So if I just refresh it, then you can see that all the divisions are separated by each other with a 5 pixel gap, with a 5 pixel gap. Okay, got it everyone? Got it everyone? Understood? Yes, great, great. After that, if I go to index.html and if I just copy this entire thing, and if I just paste it over here and then over here and then over here, not so many times, yeah. Now, if I again go and refresh it, what happened? Did I? Oh, I also did parent again and again. Gosh. I had copied the parent also. So that is why it was behaving weird. Okay, now if I go over here and if I refresh it, then you can see that unlike the inline block, here all the elements have squeezed themselves and have tried to, you know, fix themselves inside this particular parent division. There what was happening, a overflow was happening. If they were not inside the inline block, if they were not able to arrange themselves in a particular row, then they used to shift to the next row. But here what will happen, you can do that particular thing also, and you can do this also. If you want that all your divisions should get themselves adjusted inside the provided width of the parent, then they will just squeeze themselves and they will just adjust themselves inside that particular width. Okay, yeah. But if you want that they should not do this because you have provided certain width and height and they should follow that particular norm, then what you can do, you can just go to styles.css, and inside, you know, the parent only, you can write flex wrap and then wrap. Okay, if you just provide this particular CSS rule, then it will say that, okay, I have to wrap between the entire parent, but following the norms over here, whatever width and height is given. So if I now refresh it, then you can see that they are behaving as we want them to behave. Like we want them to have a width and height of certain pixels, they are following that. Along with that, they are basically rearranging themselves in next lines. Okay, got it everyone? Got it everyone? Yes. Okay, so let me give a brief recap to you guys. So first of all, what is flex? Flex is basically for, you know, giving a lot more flexibility, a lot more additional feature after inline block. If you want to rearrange certain elements in a particular width, then you use flex, and with flex you can do a whole lot of things. So first what we did, we basically had a flex without the flex wrap, and without the flex wrap all the elements were squeezing themselves inside the given width. But we do not want that. We want that, okay, our element should have the particular width and height given to them. So what you can do, you can just write flex wrap, and all the elements will just follow the norm over here, that is width and height one, and they will rearrange themselves in the next rows so as to fit themselves according to the width. Okay, now this is done. This part is done. Let us just go to the next part, and this is going to be again interesting. This will again tell you about a lot of properties about flex. So let us just remove all the other childs and keep two childs only. Okay, let us just have two childs over here. Okay, we have just two childs inside our entire, you know, flex. And over here, let us refresh. Okay, this is basically the default orientation of flex. What is the default orientation? Let us go to our anatomy. The default orientation is basically all the elements inside your flex container, all the elements whatever you have inside your flex container, they will rearrange themselves starting from the left hand side. They will always arrange themselves starting from the left hand side. Okay, starting from the left hand side. But if you want to reverse the direction, if you want that, okay, all the content should basically rearrange themselves from the right hand side. Okay, not from the left but from the right. So what you can do over here inside the styles.css, you can tell that I want to justify the contents from the end. Okay, so you can write over here justify content and then flex end. Okay, flex start is basically the default justify content that is available from the beginning. Even if you write flex start, there will be no change because that's the default, that is from left to right. But if you want that, okay, I want to justify the contents from the end, that is from right hand side, then you can write justify content end. And if I refresh it, then you can see that all the contents are now getting arranged from the right hand side, that is from the opposite direction. Okay, that is from the opposite direction. Now if I want that all the elements should basically rearrange themselves from the center. Okay, from the center. So what I can do, I can write justify content, and instead of flex end, I can write here center. Okay, so if I write center over here and refresh it, all the elements are arranged towards the center. Okay, all the elements are arranged towards the center. Now inside justify content there are a lot of properties. Let us just go towards some of the properties. Now if I want that one content, like one child should be on the left hand side, one child should be on the right hand side, so what I can do over here, I can write space between. Okay, you can have a cheat sheet of, you know, flex, and you will be able to remember everything. Okay, basically the name only says all the things. So I told you that I want one of the child to be present on the left hand side and one of the child to be present on the right hand side. So yeah, this is how it works. Okay, got it. Now if I want that, no, there should be space around this child also, there should be space around this child also. So what I can do over here, I can write space around. Okay, so if I write space around, Then if I refresh it, you can basically go over here inside justify content and try to explore all the properties. You can see that certain kind of space has been given here, has been given here, has been given here, and has been given here as well. Okay, and even space, if you just divide this particular space into two halves, then you will be able to recognize that this space and this space is same, this space and this space is same. Okay, but I don't want it. If I want that, okay, all the space over here should be even, over here should be even, over here should be even, over here also should be even. So what can I do? I can basically go over to the justify content and I can write space evenly. You see the third one, space evenly. If I do that and refresh it, then there is a even space. The computer only calculates everything and it just provides a even space between and on the left and right of all the elements. Okay, and on the left and right of all the elements. So got it? Everyone understood? Cheat sheet you will get it on internet. You can get over here. See, cheat sheet of array. What did I write? Sheet of flex box. See here, flex cheat sheet. Just take the GitHub link. You will be getting here all the things. Yeah, is available. If you want, I can just share it. I just randomly found this one. Cheat sheets out the internet is full of cheat sheet. Okay, so I'm repeating it again. If you want that from the reverse direction, I'm going. Okay, so if you want that the space between both the child elements should be even, just write justify content, then space evenly. Okay, now if you want that there should be, some space around both the elements, but it should not be even. Okay, then you can write here space around. Then if you write space around and if you refresh it, then there is a space on the left right of both the elements and you can see that there is uniform space, but this middle space is not same as the left and right one. For that you have to follow uh, space evenly. Okay, then after that there are other things like space between. So if you want that one of the elements should be present on the extreme left and on the extreme right the other element, then what you can do, you can write space between, and if I just refresh it, and you can see that both are arranged on the extreme ends, if you want that both the elements should be present on the center, then what you can write here, justify content center. Okay, so if I write center and if I refresh it, then both the elements are arranged on the center. Oh, why did it not happen? Yeah, so both the elements are arranged towards the center. Now after that, if I want that both the elements should be arranged starting from the right hand side and not from the default left hand side, what I can write here, justify content flex end. Okay, flex end. So if I refresh it, from the end. Okay, now if I want that they should be arranged from the start, so even if you don't write it, they will be arranged from the start only, that is from left hand side. That's the default property. Or else I can just do here flex start, that's the default property, but just to show you that it is the default property, I'm doing it. So if I refresh it, still the same. Okay, so those are basically the flex properties. If you do it, then you will be easily able to remember, like it's not a hard job, it's all there in the name. Okay, got it guys? Understood? Everyone? Yeah. Okay, so I'm sharing the code. Take 2 minutes and do it of your own so that you are able to understand the next flex properties. Else you will get confused because the next flex property is somewhat similar to this, so you can get confused very easily. Yeah, as of now, all the flex properties are in the parent itself. All the flex property will be in the parent. None of them will be in the child. Okay, chat. Justify content, override the gap. So if you are giving a very big gap like 400 pixels, then justify content. What are you trying to say? Like, are you trying to say that justify content will override the gap? In what sense? I cannot get your question. I'm sorry. Can you explain the purpose of flex wrap? Okay, so if you do not put flex wrap, then basically if you have a lot of elements now, they will decrease their width and try to squeeze themselves inside one row itself. But if you want that they should follow whatever width and height you have given them and should not squeeze themselves, so you have to tell flex wrap so that they get rearranged on the second row. Okay, so that they get rearranged on the second row. Got it? That's the importance of flex wrap. Suppose if I go to index.html, I basically copy this entire thing. And if I paste it again and again over here, okay. And if I go to styles.css and if I remove this flex wrap, okay. And if I go over here and refresh it, then you can see that they have squeezed themselves and their width is like much lower. Okay, but if I just put in flex wrap, okay, if I just put in flex wrap, then if I go over here and refresh it, you can see that they have rearranged themselves in the next rows. Okay, got it? Understood? Understood, guys? It's not like that. It does not remove the characteristic of flex. Flex has a lot of characteristic, depends on how you want it to behave. Justify content does not give space between the child. Justify content tells that how should the content be placed. Should it be placed on the right hand side? Should it be placed in the center? Should it be placed on the left hand side? Should there be should one of the element be placed on the extreme left and one of the elements to be placed on the extreme right? Justify content does that, and gap basically gives gap between all the elements. And justify elements act for the entire group of elements. If you say that justify element and then justify content and then you say center, then it will take the entire group of the child and it will place them in the center. If you say that justify content flex end, then it will take the entire group of child and it will place them onto the end. Okay, it's basically for placing. Okay, great. Take 2 minutes and complete this fast. Justify content, first of all. If you are trying to have justify content like space around or space between, then obviously you will need two elements. But then you can obviously do it for more than two elements also, but you have to follow some other hacks, like you have to put them inside other divisions and all. Anyways, you will be learning more hacks about flex and all once we deep dive into doing some front end projects. Okay, great. Please complete it. Okay, so we can do justify content right left at the same time, like the others say like padding. You can do it. Justify content right left. But yeah, be sure. See, CSS is all about hacks and all. You can try to play around things, but yeah, try to see justify content right at a time, left at a time. How will you do right and left at the same time? Obviously, it will not happen. Either you want it to be present on the right hand side, or you want it to be present on the left hand side. Okay, you do not want it to be present on the right and left. I don't know what I'm trying to say at the same time. Okay, so yeah, great. So let us just start with the next thing in Flex only. So let us go to our index.html and let us have two divisions over here. Okay, two divisions, and let us just give a class name of child1 to the first division and child2 to the second division. Now let us go to our styles.css. Let us have child1 style like this only, and let us just give a separate style to child2. Okay, so let us give a separate style to child2. So child2 background color, let us take this red background color, and then what I'll do over here, I'll just paste it. Let us just change the width and height, like let the width be same, let the height be a bit different. Yeah, now what do I expect? I expect that there should be two elements. Yeah, fine, two elements should be there, and they are like of different height, so we can demarcate the difference between both of them. Okay, now what I can do now, if I write, just a second guys. Okay, so if I write over here justify content center, okay, then what will it do? It will completely take, see, if I write here justify content center, okay, then what will it do? It will completely take both the elements towards the center, okay, as a group, as a group. But I want that both the elements should be in the center, but individually. They should be in the center, but individually. So what I can do over here, instead of justify content, I can target individual elements, and I can write over here align items. Okay, align item center. And when I write align item center, you can see that both the items are aligned to the center but individually. Okay, both the elements are aligned to the center but individually. This is the center in their particular column. Now they are aligned to the center according to their entire width. You can see that this is on its center, this is also on its center. Okay, this is on its center and this is also on its center, because you can see that both are not having like, both are not on the same line, both are like separated from each other. They are having certain kind of gap over here also. Why so? Because both are arranged to the center according to their own preferences. This is like small, so it is aligned over here. This is a bit larger, so it is aligned according to its own height. So that is the difference. I'm targeting over here the individual elements. Okay, I'm targeting over here the individual elements. Now I want that both of my elements should have the same baseline. Okay, should have the same baseline. So what I can write over here, align items baseline. I can write baseline. You will see that both will have the same baseline. See, both are on the left hand side, that is flex start, but both are on the same baseline. Their starting point, their baseline is same. Okay, got it. Then over here also I can write align items, and then I can write flex end. Okay, flex end. So if I go over here and refresh it, you can see that both the elements are aligned towards the end. Okay, aligned towards the end. This is for the column manner. Okay, this align items will work in a column wise manner. Okay, it will work in a column wise manner. Got it? Because they are no more a group of items, they are individual items. So that is the reason. Yeah. Now just tell me one thing. If I want both the items to be present in the center, somewhat like this. Wait, this is a task for you. I just want to see who is very much clear on flex and all. So I want that both the items, this is, yeah, this is your entire window. So I want that both the items should be present in the center like this. One item should be like this and the other item should be like this, and both should be in the center. So what can I do? What properties can I use of flex to bring them to the center? Exactly. Justify content center and align item center. Both the things at the same time. Okay. So here, what I can do, align items center, and then I can do justify content center. Okay. Great. You guys are understanding things. So if I refresh it, they are in the center. So what was the role of each one of them? I did justify content center. Justify content brought them in the center. Yeah. Justify content brought them in the center. Ah, getting irritated. Justify content brought them in the center in the row manner. Okay. Over here, it brought it over here. Now I wrote that align item center. Now align item is responsible for column wise alignment and individual item alignment. So it basically brought both the items towards the center in this particular column. So that is why row justify content and column align item. So that is the reason why they are in the center. Got it? Great, great, great. Understood, guys? So flex is, very powerful. Flex is very, very powerful and it will be used. So let me just give this particular code to you guys. Where are you? Yeah. So this is the CSS code and this is the HTML code. Take 2 minutes and complete this. And if you have any doubts on Flex, then do tell me, else we'll start with Git and GitHub because we have time, so we can start with the next topic. Yeah, we did it na. Space between. One item was on the left and other was on the right. We use space between. Yeah, please complete it and drop a completed inside the chat box. Okay, guys. Great. Please look at your code because you guys are doing very silly mistakes, and that's why your like code is not working. And you should understand how to debug your code. Okay, the debugging is a very good skill. I really appreciate, if you are doing DSA or CP or something like that, then writing your code and debugging both are equally important. Equally, you will never get the accurate answer or AC if you are not able to debug your code. My debugging skills are so bad, but in the initials, but then I just worked on it, and now they are like perfectly good. Align items, yeah, according to the column for individual items, and then justify content for the entire group in the row wise manner. Because you are telling that whatever media queries you are using, that's basically for whatever device width you are on. Okay, if your device width is small and you have applied a media query that's for smaller devices, then it will get applied to that. So just to get a understanding of the device width and do it accordingly, you use width equals to device width. Okay, great. So everyone done? Please ask your doubts on Flex, else we'll go to Git and GitHub. Ask your doubts, ask your doubts, ask your doubts. You don't have any doubts? Display Flex, use again. What? Display Flex, use again. Flex is very easy. Please try to play around things. And for Flex, now you need to look at my lecture again. I'm recording the lecture today. I'll upload this lecture and please look at this lecture. Okay. Use of Flex. Oh my God. What is not the use of Flex? You can do a whole lot of things. Whatever you see, you go to any of the websites, you go to Zomato. Okay. Zoom, not Zomato. Okay, you go to Zomato, you see that elements are over here. You see how is this made? It is made using a flex property only. There is nothing like this available on the internet. Okay, you have to use flex over here. You have to bring in two contents on side of each other. Okay, how is this entire nav bar made? Okay, it is having what? Space between, not space around. Okay, it is having space around, and this is inside one parent division, this is inside another parent division. They are uh, aligned according to them. Again, flex over here and then flex on the entire thing. Everywhere there is flex. What is the importance? What not is the importance of flex? Justify content, row wise alignment, align items, column wise alignment. Yes, but align items is for individual items and justify content is for group. Okay. Display flex to access flex materials, right? Flex, flex means to flexibly align your items. That's it. Okay. Flexibly align your items. Okay. Can you please explain the implication of gap and justify content when used together for two elements and more than two elements? What happens? See, what's the gap? Gap is basically for the gap between the elements, and justify content is for, placing the elements. It's like you are asking what's the difference and implication of both. They both are like card and carpet. One is for giving a gap between the elements and the other is for placing the elements. Okay. I'll tell that there is a gap between all these things. Over here, there is a gap. Over here, there is a gap. Now I'll tell that, okay, I want to place this element over here and this element over here. Then, like, they both are different things, right? Ma'am, can we specify space around and the specific child when using space around? Sorry, I did not understand. Ma'am, can we specify space around a specific child? And I did not understand. See, guys, what you can do, you know, whatever doubts you have, you can try doing that on your own. Okay. And see what you are getting as a result. And if you are getting some unexpected result which you are not able to understand, then ask me. That's more logical. Okay. That's more logical. Rather than asking that, ma'am, will this happen? Ma'am, what will happen when I do this and that? It's better that you do this and that and then ask that, okay, ma'am, I got something very much unexpected. No, the gap will not be applied because I want that both the elements should be on the end. So what's the necessity of gap over here? Okay. Both the elements will obviously try to align themselves on the ends rather than they will not follow the gap. Then, you know, that's a placement. Okay. So yeah, obviously it will override the gap. Great. Understood, everyone? Today, please go and try to work around flex and then come back and tell me that, ma'am, why did this happen? I did not expect this result. Got it? Got it, everyone? Yeah, you can remove gap from the code then. But you know, if you go to small screen and suppose that entire space between gets vanished, then gap is something which will still be there, you know. Gap is something which will still be there and it will just try to give certain kind of small line between both the elements. Okay, great. Yeah, great. Now let us go and learn about, have an introduction about Git and GitHub. Okay. So today, over here, yeah. So Git and GitHub. So Git is basically a command, you can say, and it is used to push your all the contents from local to the open source. Very generic answer, not the specific answer, but yeah, as of now you can understand this. And what is GitHub? GitHub is basically an open source platform which provides flexibility to platform, yeah, which provides flexibility for all the organizations, for all the people, for all the developers on the internet to come on a common platform and then contribute to a code for its, you know, upliftment, or for bringing up new versions of that particular code or for particular project. What is open source? Open source is basically whatever is free is open source. Anything that is free is basically your open source. Now, what is the importance of Git and GitHub? See, like GitHub, there are other things also like GitLab and all. Those also are like open source things. And what's happening to this writing pad? I don't understand. Has this gone crazy or what? Yeah, GitHub, and there is other things like GitLab also. Okay, GitLab is also present. So what are these all things? These are basically something which will help you to get your code onto the entire, what is happening? Okay, I can't understand why is it behaving weird, but yeah. So the entire open source thing, this concept has been made so as to make you bring your code onto the internet and help, like ask others for helping you out and improving your code or improving your project. So that is the basic importance of Git and GitHub. Now there is some other importance also. Okay, so suppose you have built your entire project. Okay, suppose you have built your entire project. So this is your project, this has been built. Now you want that, you have pushed your project to the internet. Okay, you have pushed your project to the internet and it is available at some https xyz, it is available. Okay, at some https xyz, it is available. Now you want to make some changes to the project and compare those changes with the original project. So you don't want that directly, you'll go and make the changes inside the project. That's what is a lame approach. Okay, I want that there should be some other way so as to create the changes, and then I can compare the changes, and if the changes are worth it, then I can merge the changes. So this is what GitHub provides. This is your original project. Okay, this is your original project. Then what you can do, you can create your own branch inside your own project. You can work around this particular branch and see that what all things you need, and then you can merge your branch inside your main branch if you feel that your branch has certain important changes which need to be present inside your main project. Okay, so this is what GitHub provides. And not only you, other people can also work around your branch inside their own local repository, and they can just ask you that, okay, can I just like make these changes inside your repository? Can I push my changes inside your repository? And if you say that okay, you can do it, then you will basically review their changes, and if the changes are good, then you will merge their pull request. Okay, so this is how the terms like PR, you must have listened about PR, that is pull request. Okay, pull request. And then basic things like merging and all, okay, forking and all, cloning, you will understand about that tomorrow. Forking, cloning, okay, then pushing your code. Okay, so these all things are the basics of Git and GitHub. And if you really want to go for GSOC, then you have to master Git and GitHub. Okay, mastering Git and GitHub is very important if you want to get into GSOC, because GSOC is all about open source. It's all about Git and GitHub. So what I want from you guys is that go to GitHub if you don't have your GitHub account, because some of you don't have your GitHub account. Go to GitHub and create your account. Okay, create your account. Go to GitHub and create your account. Now after you create your account, you can basically go and check out your profile. Inside your profile you can change certain other things like basic things. If you want to add in your projects over here, if you want to add in certain, like detailed description about yourself, you can do that. Okay, so this is what you can do. So up to now, I want you guys to basically create your GitHub account and then go to your GitHub account and change whatever you want, like add a description about yourself and all. If you have your GitHub account, that's well and good, no issues. Tomorrow we will be learning about what things we can do inside GitHub. Okay, what all basics of GitHub, like how we can push our code, how we can basically create a merge request. Okay, so how many of you are very new to Git and GitHub? Like you do not know about Git and GitHub? You do not have your GitHub account? Okay. Okay, so a lot of people are there. So please create your GitHub account and make sure that you are up and running with this particular thing. And once you have created your GitHub account, then we will move on towards understanding what is a pull request, how to work in command line, and what's a command line interface and all. So we'll be learning about that. Understood, guys? Okay, no issues, no issues. Yeah. Great, great. And tomorrow, once you learn that, then I'll tell you how to start with some very basic, kind of pull request and all to some certain issues present inside Git. Then you can start getting the feel of open source, the essence of open source. And then I'll also give you certain tips on how to find organization for GSOC. I had to send the YouTube video, right? I had to send the YouTube video. Let me send it in the unofficial group. Where is the unofficial group? Okay, so just a second. Here I have given certain, like I have given all the details about GSOC. Okay. Where is our unofficial group? I'm not even getting it. Yeah. Yeah, I had got it and you just typed. Okay. Yeah. Okay, guys. I have sent the video. Do not worry about anything. Tomorrow I'll be showing you everything with the PPT itself. Today I was thinking to show you, like I was thinking today's course was basically Flexbox. It got completed early, and then I had thought of giving an intro about Git and GitHub. We have a PPT on Git and GitHub, but oh, okay. The password is not working, so there's no need of saying it. But the ID and password it changed for the Canva credential. So I asked sir. He has not replied yet. He will be replying, and yeah, tomorrow I'll be showing you the PPT. Okay. Someone please share the group link. Uh, okay, I'm sharing it in the main group. I'll share it in the main group. Do you have any doubts, guys? Also, Google, I think some resources. Mhm. There are a lot of resources of GitHub on YouTube. You can go on that to master GitHub. Yeah. Any other doubts do you have? See, in the official group, I have sent the, yeah, invite link. Yeah, great. No doubt. So tomorrow we will be learning about Git and GitHub. Tomorrow, make sure that you are on your Atom, on your local machine, because you won't be able to do it without your local. So yeah, tomorrow we'll be learning about all of it. And after you just have your GitHub account, tomorrow we'll be going on generating our secret key, like not our secret key but our token, because nowadays GitHub has previously GitHub used to give access to push your entire code without even generating your token, just by using the ID and password. But now GitHub has changed that. I have generated around 20 tokens because every time I generate a token I forget it. So yeah, great, no issues. Tomorrow we'll be learning all about Git and GitHub. So I guess everyone understood. So please try to play around the Flex properties. And if you are done with the Flex, and if you are just thinking that you did not get the expected result, then you can come and ask me that, okay, ma'am, why did not I get the expected result or something like that? Okay. So till then, bye bye, guys. Bye bye. Bye. Thank you all.